Hey everybody, I wanted to make this quick guide because I was getting quite a few questions on how I was playing GoW Ascension on PC the way I was. This guide's going to kind of go over a little bit of everything. I just want to be very clear. Not everything in this video is going to work for everybody. We're going to start from a fresh installation of RPCS3, and I'm going to go over this and also kind of discuss the legality and why I can't link certain things. Although I personally don't link many things or use many links. I have FileZilla. I have a modified PS3 here that is running a soft mod that allows me to dump files directly onto the hard drive inside of my PS3, and then FileZilla allows me to access it through a network and move the files to my PC. So the majority of the dumps on my computer are that they're just from my own PS3, and I rename them so that way they're a little bit more organized and I know what I'm looking at. I'm really into modding things. Anyways, we have some links that you guys are going to need, so let's start right with the internet browser and show you guys exactly what you're going to need to download. That way you have everything available to you in a downloaded folder. So what we're going to be getting is what you see right here. Excuse me. RPCS3, a PS3 update PUP, the PS3 NPA 00445 updates. However, these are directly pulled from my PS3. I'm going to be showing you a website that allows you to pull that. And if you have save data, you can also pull your save data. Save data also means that you're pulling it from your PS3. In my case, it's a backup from when I was streaming it. Recently, I did a full repair on my computer, and when I was running some software to fix my drives, my RPCS3 broke. So keep in mind if you're doing file repairs, if you're doing hard drive repairs, if you're doing, C plus cleaner and stuff like that, you might actually destroy your RPCS3 installation. So let's carry on with getting yourself the PlayStation software. So you're just going to head on over to Google, or in my case, DuckDuckGo, and type in PlayStation 3 firmware, and you're going to be looking for the PlayStation.com official download. The reason why you want the official download is because RPCS3 specifically looks for that. There are teams of people who have created alternative firmware that you can utilize. I don't know the legality of that, and I don't recommend it, since if RPCS3 was taking into consideration using the open software, then this is what you should use, the publicly available PlayStation 3 software update. Next, you're going to head on over to rpcs3.net. You're going to go to their downloads tab here, and you're just going to get a SHA-256, which is RPCS3 for Windows, if you're on Windows, Linux, or Mac OS. We're on Windows, so I already have it downloaded, so that's what we need. We're also going to use the RPCS3 wiki in order to pull up some of the help default settings so that way we can have a better understanding of what we are looking at. Going off of memory, I'd never recommend. You're going to want to have something that you can reference. That way you have a good understanding of what you're changing. Then we're also going to pull up the God of War RPCS3 wiki. This wiki typically updates regularly and allows you to see what people are utilizing and the known issues so you can attempt to fix it. We're also going to go to ps3.aldostools.org/updates.html. This is going to give you a priority list of all of the patches available from PlayStation.net. As you can see, these are the official PlayStation.net, or possibly official, I'm not 100% positive, but these are the PKG files that you're going to need to update your system. As you can see, there's a lot of them, but don't worry, I know exactly which one we're going to need based on the title ID, and that's what we're going to be going off of. So we're going to switch it to USA because I'm using USA, and this will segregate everything into the correct title that we're going to need. So as you can see now, it's 23 titles instead of 34. We're going to go to USA. So once you have everything downloaded, it's put it on your desktop. So you'll probably have these two files here. I don't know 100% what God of War I have, what version. So we're going to go ahead and create a folder on your desktop, and we're going to name that RPCS3. And we're just doing this for convenience. You could put this anywhere, obviously. We're going to take this file. If you don't have 7-zip, you can head on over to 7-zip.org. It'll look like this, and you're going to get this link for Windows 64-bit or Windows 32-bit, or if you're using an ARM system here. That will allow you to drag and drop and extract these into the correct folder. Once those are installed, you can go ahead and delete the zip file. We're no longer going to need it because this is essentially all of the open source custom software that the RPCS3 team put together in order to simulate a PS3 on your system. Emulate. I'm going to run you through the quick start guide, and we don't need to see this again. So you should get a window like this. As you can see, this is Alpha 2.24. We're going to go over to help and just real quick do an update check. We are up to date. The system will do an automatic update check, but we just like to double check that. As you can see under -sys, we are missing firmware in the log. This is where your PS3 update pup comes into play. So we're just going to drag this in and it will automatically ask us to update, and we're going to continue with that. And as you can see, it successfully installed the PS3 firmware and LLE modules. We don't need to see that again. We're going to continue and let the system do its thing. It's going to compile the PPU modules, which means it's essentially running a scan across your system to know exactly how it can run. Your system will probably heat up, or the fans will kick on, and the system's going to be getting hit with this load. As you can see, my CPU is ramped up to 100% as it does this, as well as my GPU kicking up to 30%. Why is Microsoft Edge running? What? Microsoft Teams? No. Stop. What? Alright. So as you can see, our log has updated. Errors are pretty common. Those red ones, those are pretty common. They're just going to be already linked functions as it does the scan across your system. So this is a step that I would assume you already have. You already have your ROMs set up and organized. Where did I put them? Here. So you can just drag and drop your files. It'll automatically locate it. These are all hard drive dumps from me. So we're going to be using the BCUS98232. So by going back to this website, that's what we need to find. BCUS98232. This is the one we want. And we want version 1.04 specifically for RPCS3. So we're just going to go ahead and download the PKG here. It's about 224 megabytes. So as you can see, this is the NPUA. I don't have the correct PKGs. I have the wrong ones. I got these from oh man, I got these and updated them off of archive.org, I believe. I pulled a bunch of them when I initially did this directly off of the PS3, and then I lost them, if I remember correctly. Is that what I said in the beginning? Should be what I said in the beginning. I might have got my words mixed up. But if anything I said in the beginning, if I said I pulled it off the system, I pulled the game off of my system. The update files were pulled off of my system at one point, but were then downloaded off of archive.org, and then I was resourced to that website that I'm showing in the video. Anyways, we're just going to go ahead and drag this in just like we did the update, and this is going to prompt us to want to install this package to update BCUS98232. Right there. Yes. And as you'll see, this goes from 1.00 to 1.04. We can then close that out. The next important thing is we're going to have to manage our game patches. This will prompt us to do new patches available. We want to update, yes. This will give us a drop menu. We're on version 1.04, and we're just going to go ahead and disable all of this in order to have it run correctly. We can disable some of these, but the game version is on 1.04, so there's really no reason to. And we're just going to apply these and save. All right, now we can do a test launch, but we obviously need to create default configuration. So we're just going to create a PPU cache now. And as you can see, the cache builder was aborted. This usually is because the God of War Ascension does not work on RPCS3 as of right now. You can see it's launching in-game, but not actually launching. We can go ahead and show that off, see what happens. It should get to the title screen, and then the title screen should be black. If you're paying attention up here, your FPS will probably drop down to 1 FPS, and that's where we're going to have to go into some of the wikis in order to figure out some information to change in order to get this to function correctly. I don't think I updated my controller. I need to go to pads. I'm going to use a DualShock 4. Just going to move my analog stick there. It's working. So you'll normally get to this screen, hit XX. And as you can see, it is buggy. So yeah, as you can see, we're getting a lot of buggy issues. And I'm going to make a profile now. And then we're going to close out of this. Once we are loading and seeing things pop up on screen here, we just want to get some profile information into the system. This is probably going to look fine, but note that it isn't. Okay, close that. I can right click this. Well, I'm going to go to manage real quick, and I'm going to pull open my save data here, and I'm going to do view folder. And I'm just going to go back into here and move over my save data now. I'm going to do a quick launch to make sure the overwrite was correct. The more you launch this, the better the system will get at caching things. The RPCS3 folder actually gets quite massive as you run this because it caches so much data. So as you can see, I already have so much data cached that the system is actually able to load this without issue, without changing anything. But it will not be completable. That's the core issue, is it's not completable. I just want to show everything. You can see the game is running now. It looks good. It looks pretty. It looks clean. I'm getting about 60 FPS. And although, you know, they say that this isn't working correctly, you know, you can tell where a lot of their effort into these alphas have paid off, as the game does look and run pretty solid. But we just don't have any confirmation that the game is beatable in this settings. So what we were going to want to do is close this out and start doing custom configurations. And this is where Going into the wiki and things like that is going to help us get better performance in this title, depending on your system. So we want to set our SPU block size to mega. As you can see, that is right here under the CPU settings. So we're going to set that to mega. Then we're going to go to the GPU configuration here. Let me apply that real quick. I'm going to move this off screen, so that way it's easier for you guys to see. And some of these settings will be a little bit older. They might not be there anymore. Just keep that in mind. So it wants us to go to Z call accuracy, which is right here, and set that to approximate instead. And we want to write color buffers. This will fix the lighting issues. We're going to go over to advanced, and we're going to turn on RSX reservation access right here. Our sleeper times accuracy will be as host. Sleeper time accuracy is here as host. RSX FIFO accuracy, which is here. And we're going to set that to atomic. And then we're going to apply and save this custom configuration. And then we can move back over here and boot with custom configuration. Again, it's going to rebuild our PPU and SPU. And there we are. We're back into GoW Ascension. From what I understand, the reason why the log has so many system FS fails and things like that is because with running it on a computer, it only needs one, where with the PPUs on the PS3, it needed all of that data in order to do it, but it can just simply replicate it on a PC. I'm not too technical with the inner workings of a PS3, but if you don't know, the PS3 used a special hard drive and a special CPU and special file managements and things like that that all had to be replicated. So here we are, we're back in Ascension. As you can see, the game is running very well. I'm actually doing some different settings than what I was originally doing. The first 2 episodes that I recorded of this game, I actually did my own build. I didn't follow many guides in order to do it. I built my own. And I just wanted to be cool and different. As you can see, it's running. We're getting 50 to 60 FPS across the board. Hopefully I don't hit a save screen. I just want to get into some combat or something. As you can tell, it's running fairly nicely. So yeah, if you're using a PS3 controller, I want to just real quick in this video also show how to utilize that. So if you want to use a PS4 controller, what you're going to want to do is get DS4 Windows. This will connect my controller up. I was just using a default configuration before. So anyways, yeah, this is DS4 Windows. So you're just going to go here and DS4 Windows. Go to the first link. And there you go. Yeah, I guess they updated it to support PS5 as well. That's pretty cool. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful. I hope I gave you a good way of running down and figuring out how to get games that are not supposed to be running on RPCS3. Because from what I understand and looking at what the team has stated publicly, the rule of thumb is with their guideline of compatibility. Ugh, I already have RCPS3 running here. When it says in-game, 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 things like that, what this all comes back to is it's just running in-game with their default settings when they're testing. It's up to us in the community to do the open source work and notify people of what does work. So if let's say you wanted to run this at, 1080p upscale to, I don't know, let's just do, is that 4K, 2K? And then we just bump up the scaling. Like, let's go crazy, right? Let's just go absolutely insane. Like, we can then take the data that we're creating here. Is that going to show? Yes. We can then take the data that we're creating here and notify the community of, hey, on this hardware, I'm able to run this game at 4K upscale with a threshold increase and blah, blah, blah. But as you can see, playing around with those settings typically will completely break the game. So it really comes down to you as a part of the community, being a part of the forums and making videos like this to notify people like how it works. And there's a lot of people making guides that I find don't really well encompass how to use an emulator correctly. Obviously, none of us can tell you where to get games. None of us can tell you where to get ROMs or whatever you want to call them, ISOs. And obviously, if we could run this, it would look great, but we can't. You see Kratos' face is broken. We're getting a lot of tearing on the left side, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how to close this. Alt F4, escape, nope. There we go. So I need to go back here, GPU, set that back down to default, 1920, reset, apply, save. So yeah, that was a really long video on giving you pretty much the entire knowledge that you're going to need to be able to use RCPS3. Really, really fast breakdown. Really, really fast. Number one, you need the firmware. Number two, you need the software. Number three, you need to know what you're clicking on. So make sure you have these things available to you. Number four, you want to have the RPCS3 wiki open to you, available, and you can just search up the game and make sure that your mode is here. Not mode, game ID is here. Okay? And then you need to make sure that you have the working correct update. So make sure that you're doing your research before you go and launch these games. Make sure you're checking to see what people are working with. Check with YouTubers, check with threads, check with forums, check with Reddit. I thought for sure 1.12 would be the best. Some people have had success with 1.12. I did not have success with 1.12, and I needed to use 1.04. So just make sure you keep those things in mind when you're trying to get things to run. Now, don't forget, these are things that are falling within weird legal restrictions to some people. In my area, PS3 emulation is completely legal, especially because I own 3 PS3s and this game. One PS3 is soft modded so that way I can move the title, I can rip it onto my PS3 and use FileZilla to move it off the system. That is how I source my games. That is the only way I'm allowed to source games where I live. So keep that in mind. Make sure you're not breaking the law. Do your own research. But with that, I hope this was helpful. Have a good one. If you enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe. I have other projects in the works that I would be very happy to share with everybody. The more subscribers I get, the better our community can grow. We are creeping up on finally reaching that 1,000 subscriber threshold, and then our new goal is to reach the 4,000 hour threshold. That way, YouTube pays me. Making money off of YouTube will allow me to not only create more content, but get the equipment to produce more interesting videos for you. I have a lot of projects and art projects in the works, so If you want to support, a subscription is all it takes. I appreciate you. Bye-bye.